It's not letting me.
Montefoscoli, December 20th, 1941. Dear Director, could you please let me know how my daughter, your patient Renee T., is getting along? I've written to my daughter several times, but have received no reply. I'm very worried, particularly as I've been ill for some time and have not been well enough to come and visit her. Please kindly let me know when it will be possible for me to bring my daughter home. Your humble servant, Ada T. Bring this letter to the attention of Dr. C so he can assess the potential discharge of the patient.
Oh, get fucked. They didn't deliver it, so she was never discharged. That's unfortunate. Especially when she wasn't even getting the proper treatment she needed. Like, imagine going here because your parent believes it'll help you and they just like fuck your kid up even more. Like, that's horrible. I couldn't fathom that kind of like reality. We need some more light. No, you open. Bring in some light. This area needs to be lit up. A healthy home has air in it. Or so people say it does. Oh, I thought that was a light. I've come to the conclusion that I completely forgotten to unmute my mic, so that's gonna be fun. I usually mute it whenever my dogs get a little out of hand with their barking and their playfulness because I love them, but you guys shouldn't have to be subjugated to my dog's wildness and their cute, adorable tantrums that they want to throw in the house. And so this is gonna be a fun time. I also mute it just in case, like, my mother-in-law comes downstairs to ask questions about certain things. I don't want to intrude on her privacy, so. And it'd make it much more easier for me to edit anyway. Why did we need to come down here? Do I need to close myself in the door? Let's see if that does anything. I'm not sure if it will. Oh, these are all the patient's clothes. Yeah, it didn't do anything, so I guess this is where they kept her. Why do they keep closing my windows that I keep opening? Let's see the journal first before I completely go off. There was too much chaos. They closed all the windows and the doors and they turned off the lights and it was pitch black. Some people can fall asleep and some others could not. Okay, so we've already looked at that. Okay, so this is the... Doesn't even tell you what ward it is, so I think there's something in there. Maybe I have to close the doors here? Because she said they closed the doors, turned off all the lights. I don't think we turned on the lights down here because there is no lights. Closed all the windows. So let's see. I don't know if this has anything to do with anything, but let's see. Let's close. Some gays could be very picky about certain things. Well, we're in the dark by ourselves. Now what? Oh, turn out the light. Oh, gosh!
Put a straight jacket on you.
Well, that's unfortunate. No, they even had it.
They gave you a cold shower.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, she got no neck. She's
They
chin.
suffocated you with a sheet.
Well, she has no chin, I mean. Oh, what the fuck? Okay, now that's not okay. That's abuse.
Tied you to the bed.
That's abuse.
They tied me to the
Yeah,
bed.
that's abuse. And then waterboarding you is abuse. Really? Nuns are gonna fix your
A
issues?
woman died next to me, choked by her own vomit.
That's also abuse, because that's incorrect treatment.
She was tied down because she wouldn't stop pleasuring herself.
Well, I could see how that's an issue, but
I
still.
can still hear her death rattle. I screamed, but nobody came. Everybody screamed in there, all of them. It was then I saw the doll, which wasn't Charlotte. No, she wasn't Charlotte.
Oh. A memory before you came here? A memory before Charlotte became a thing? Oh. This has a lot of, oh. That's unfortunate. So even her own father has touched her.
The past was like the present. That doll, that man, the shame. Renee was increasingly divorced from reality. How will I ever find out what really happened? How will I ever find Amara again if I can't even find myself?
Do you even want to fight Amara? Like, I don't know how she's gonna help you fix you if it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, maybe 3? I'm not entirely sure. I don't know how Mara's gonna really help you, girly. So it looks like we haven't opened up anything else. So we do need these panels. So once we have it all, I'm gonna go ahead and play it all straight so we can get the storyline, because no, this is new.
Montefoscoli, November 12th, 1939. My dear daughter, it is with great sadness that I heard what happened. Your transfer and your sufferings are a cause of great worry for me. It will take time, but you'll see, things will improve. They'll treat you and you'll get better again. I pray a lot, every day. Write to me often and tell me if you need anything. I promise I'll do what I can. Try to be strong. Mom.
Well,
This is the last letter she wrote to me. Once I was put into this ward, I was overwhelmed by loneliness. After that medical examination, I received no more letters from Mom. Why is that man here? Why doesn't she come to see me? Did I make a mistake? It didn't seem like she wanted to abandon me. What did I do wrong? I'd like to be able to reply to her again now, to change things.
So I'm guessing she didn't know that her mom did talk to her, sent her multiple letters, but they probably withheld that given her condition, which isn't really fair if you think about it. It's totally unwarranted, and they don't have that right, because even if it's just a small letter, it's still giving them a sense of hope that someone outside these walls do care. We'll go ahead. They hurt me really bad. This is hard. Because some of these things... I don't want to say she's wrong because I feel like a lot of people misguided her into assuming a lot of her actions are wrong. It's okay to be sexual. It's okay to explore. It's okay to be in a relationship with the same gender. It's okay to be confused. Not everyone has life figured out. Nobody will have life figured out, and that's the roller coaster of being an adult. Is we're gonna know some things, we're not gonna know everything. And as adults, it's okay to admit when you're confused and you're fearful. It humanizes you. But to say that you're guilty of a lot of things, which I guess is fair if you are guilty of certain things, to whatever to extent that belongs to, but when you grow up in an environment this way that this character has, and the female that we're playing, I feel like most of it was she learned how to survive, and it may have not been in the best intentions on how that survival happened, but she learned to survive. It's when she came to the institution that I feel like may have broken her spiritually and mentally, along physically. I don't think she really comprehends what's going on with her life. She doesn't realize that when the institution is already closed, that's how badly they had destroyed her. Another would be she's still living in these walls, acting as if they can still hurt her when there is nobody there. Just the harshness of living into that. Can you even fathom that? But now I'll behave for sure. Now things will be fine. I'll work hard. I'll be very good. I don't know what's happening to me. Sometimes I don't even know where I am. And she doesn't. That's the truthfulness. She is heavy into her delusions. And there's nothing wrong with delusions, honestly. There's nothing wrong with not being there mentally. And not a lot of people can understand that. And that's probably the harsh reality, is that trying to work your way or having someone work your way to be that stabilizing ground for you so you can continue to presently be in the present moment rather than in the distant past, in the distant future, to help work along your hallucinations. Sorry. Don't know why that word is coming out very incorrectly. They hate me, he hates me, he wants to kill me, but nobody understands, nobody believes me. I just wish I could die. Every night I hope I don't wake up again. I'm gonna go with the top one.
Perhaps she would have listened to me. Will she reply?
Where are we gonna take these? Well, like they say, a mom's love is better than nothing because you're the only child she has. Now, I don't know if there's anything else, and that's the thing is, like, I want to make sure I comb over everything because I don't want to leave any paperwork behind. Registration of visits from Raylene T. Date and time, personal details. April 10, 1938, at Lene T. June 15, 1938, 9:50 a.m. Police officer for questioning. June 25th, 1938, 3:30 p.m. Buruma M. April 20th, 1940. Onofol P. June 13, 1940. Ban visit. That's not cool. Whoops. I've been kind of munching on something because I have the tendency to forget. Oh, it looks like we can listen to the radio. I have the tendency to forget that sometimes I still need to eat. It's nobody's fault. I get a little too wrapped up that I play games and I get so consumed because I'm enjoying it that I just now realize the time is ticking and I should be eating. Clinical Diary of Raylene T. Symptoms and treatment, specifically one or more of the following abnormality behaviors. Oh, I don't even know how to say that first one. I've never heard of that word. Unstable, incoherent, extrovert. Wow, these are a lot of words. Some of which I know and some of them I don't. So I know excited, insolent, rebellious, lying, impatient, cruel, demeanor, impulsive, nervous, erotic, hallucinogenic, restless, chattering, irrelevant, idleness, flirtatious, slanderous, anger, present, simpin, irritable, malice, red in the face, exculpation, deceitful, devoted to. These could be a lot of symptoms too. It would be hard to label her as something the more we get to know her. At first I thought it was just maybe like, and it could be the traumahood thing coming into play, because that definitely does drive a factor for a lot of things for people. For her, she always constantly thinks and behaves that someone's going to hurt her, and in fairness, they have. So she has a legit fear for that. That's a warrant actual response, and it's probably why she latches onto it. Her mom's already told her that she's, in a sense, not, what the heck? That she's wanted but not wanted. Do I want to go down here just to check? Yeah, I'll go down here just to check. And I could also stem off of the fact, honestly, this is giving me some either extreme manic bipolarism. If you ever look that up, bipolar people do have a hard time functioning, especially if they're not taking their medicine as they should be. But for those who don't know about it, bipolar people could be very hard to handle sometimes. They do go through periods of stages where they're overwhelmed by one general emotion or maybe several general emotions and several general actions. Sometimes they make it quite difficult to handle for day-to-day people who are not probably used to such. Oh wow, that had a lot of people in the room. Making it very difficult to handle day-to-day. That isn't always the case. Maybe there are some good ones that do make it easier. You gotta know the symptoms and how to handle the symptoms is all I'm saying. If they do have trauma based on it, it definitely does make it difficult to handle. Oh, we found another piece. Oh, we're getting closer. Cool. We got one more. This is why I check every room just in case. Can you please open? Rude. Yeah, so my next step would be, because she has so many paperwork that's saying all this, I'm kind of wondering if she's schizophrenic, because she definitely is not here presently. She struggles to be here, and they keep mentioning the fact that she's delusional and very much in her own set of reality. What is that noise? It's still daytime outside. Do I just go downstairs with this? Oh, that door's open. Have we been down there? The door's open. I don't remember this being open. But yeah, like, I feel like maybe she might have it. Or it could be a combination of things. could be much wrong. I kind of know some ideas of some mental illnesses, but I don't know a whole lot. Oh, these are fake eyeballs. Or maybe they're real. Who knows? Oh, look at that. Eyeballs. How to insert an eyeball. Or to remove one. Ew. Fascinating, but also disgusting. That's crazy that she has such distinguishing memories of what occurred. So obviously, she was here. She was mentally present in some situations. And I'm wondering if that was because nothing extremely happened until it did. Oh, look at this. It's not letting me interact with them. Jeez, it's dark in here. Oh, it won't even let me open the window. It's like, no light for you. No active light. Oh, I was in the way. I was like, who's knocking? I don't think anybody should be knocking. I'm not supposed to be having guests. That I'm not aware of. So I'm a very big advocate for people getting therapy and stuff, being aware of who you are. Like, it doesn't hurt to know what's going on with you, because all it's going to do is just teach you better steps to prepare yourself, to help you encounter certain events, to help you understand how you react in any given situation, whether it be positive, good, or you're just confused yourself. Like, it just doesn't hurt. Like, it's better to know who you are, so you know how people can handle you if you ever want to know. And I generally do try to give, like, the best advice that I can. Like, if anybody ever asks for it, for my group of friends, I don't like sticking my nose where it doesn't belong. Like, if they're willing to open up to me, that's cool and all. Good for you. Like, I'm never gonna judge you for what you've done or how you've done it. It's none of my business on how that happened. It's more of being aware on how you're reacting now. Oh, look at this. The people of Italy takes arms. Italy enters in war announced by Duke War. Oh, I don't know how to say that part. Speaks. Message from the Führer to King. New tuberculosis unit open. Integrating of... Oh. Oh, okay. Interesting. These are locked. Cannot open them. Can't even go over here. But in a sense, it's just making you more aware of how to... Oh, they did all the work. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it kind of helps you to be self-sufficient. But not everyone likes chores, I guess. Some have a legit reason why they shouldn't be doing chores, so... Oh, telephone. Hello? Housekeeping?
When you were sent to a lunatic asylum, you lost the right to possess anything.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Everything you arrived with was packed up and stored here. Even the clothes you were wearing. In case you were released one day. But far too many never left.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I'm not sure what that's gonna do for me, so... Let's see. Can't do anything with that. Kind of almost feels like a prison, because prison definitely takes away your, It says I could do something, but I don't know what. Maybe I'm supposed to go drop this off somewhere. And then come back up? Yeah, let's go do that. Let's go drop this off, because I started, like, exploring and got sidetracked from what I was originally trying to do. I was like,
there must be a file with my name in the filing cabinet somewhere.
Is that what we're supposed to do? You're confusing me. I don't like being confused, because then my brain starts like, what? It's at a good pace right now. It's functioning. It's going fast. Like, don't make me slow down. I don't know where your name is. Will it say Renee? Renee T? Okay, let's see. Oh. Oh.
Dear Mother, please, I beg you, get me out of this place. I'm so frightened here. You were right. I know I was wrong. I understand. I'm so ashamed. If only you knew how much. But now I'll behave myself, I promise. Now things will be fine. I'll work hard. I'll be very good. Your daughter, Renee.
No, they never sent it.
This letter. It was Renee's letter, just as she wrote it back then. But it was never sent. Why? Why did this happen? I received your letter, Mom. You tell me to be patient and strong, while I only feel fear and pain. And you don't write to me anymore. If only these words could be my soul, I'd tell you what was happening to me. The kids want to kill me. They all look the other way and tell me what to do. I don't understand. She helps me, but what have they done to her? Can you tell me? Will you help me?
Wow.
Renee.
She's really losing it.
Montefoscoli, July 7th, 1940. My dear daughter, I have received no news from you. You have not contacted me in months. I'm sorry, but I don't have the money to come and visit you. Do you remember Mr. Onofrio? He'll soon be in Volterra for business. I've asked him if he would be kind enough to ask the director for some news about you. I hope he'll bring me some good news when he returns. But please write to me. I know that I was strict with you. You have to forgive me. I didn't think. I've given Mr. Onofrio a new doll for you. You told me that you lost yours, and I know you loved it so much. It's not as nice as your Charlotte, but I hope that it will comfort you nonetheless. Keep your chin up, darling. Everything will be fine, you'll see. Mom.
That's wild. So they weren't delivering her letters, the daughter's letters, let alone allowing the mom to hear.
Montefoscoli, October 12th, 1940. My dear daughter, I've written 2 letters to you and have received no reply. Every day, I'm anxiously waiting for a letter.
Oh, I forgot I could soup it.
Mr. Onofrio's back. He brought you the doll. Do you like it? He told me he was unable to speak to the director, but managed to see you. I pray for you every day. Even Don Gino said a prayer for you during Sunday Mass. Isn't that nice? I've made up my mind, Renee. I'm bringing you home. I've already written to the director. I told him that I'll take care of you. I'm not very well at the moment and can't work, but I'll get better soon, you'll see. And as soon as I can make the journey, I'll come and fetch you. I know you're suffering a lot, but please be strong, I beg you.
Oh my gosh.
Mom will come to fetch Renee, won't she? Mom is good, but she's not well. That's why that man came. The doll. Renee could have played with it while she was waiting for her to arrive, but Renee didn't have it with her. Is it one of Mom's lies? She knew that she'd hurt Renee and... No, Mommy's good. That man brought it. We've just remembered who he is, haven't we? It was Renee who was wrong. The doll's here. I know that for sure. Perhaps she's been abducted like all the others and is locked up here somewhere.
Wow. That's wild. That is concerningly wild that One, the people didn't let the mom talk to her own daughter, and two, that this girl. Why is she looking up? Why is she looking up? Oh, I'm nervous. What are you doing, girlie? Oh, this is your stuff. Oh, okay, I got.
Now we can open the bundle on that table in front of the window.
Oh, it's all our stuff. Oh, before you got in.
You see? Mom was good. I was bad. Mom was worried about Renee and Charlotte. I abandoned Charlotte. We've abandoned her. May the Lord guide your path and keep you from sin. Mom.
She has everything. Do we just leave now? Those are not J's. Okay, diary. Ooh, we finally have everything, so let's go ahead and go through it all. Alrighty, so let's start the Town of Light.
My name is Renee. They told me that I have to write this diary, but I don't feel like it. It's not true that I feel better when I write. Actually, it's worse. I was a shy girl, and I just wanted to be like the others. But that's not what happened. No. I did things that, when I think about them now, eventually brought me here. Everything started with that damned light. It happened for the first time when I was still a little girl. I was 6 or 7. I was walking outside school when suddenly the noise started to melt into an indistinct rumble. The light increased out of all proportion and everything lost its meaning. I could no longer recognize anything. Objects, people, words, not even myself. I felt fear as a physical sensation. It prevented me from moving, from swallowing, from breathing. After God knows how long, everything went back to normal. But a new fear replaced the old one. Different but terrible. Of the light coming back. And it did come back. My memory of those years is hazy. Between the age of about 7 and 10, my memories are disconnected, and I couldn't say how many times and how frequently the light used to come. My mother gave me a doll around that time. Charlotte. Thinking back to it makes me want to laugh. But at the beginning, I remember that I was afraid of her. I thought she wanted to harm me, to kill me and take my place. But when the light came, she would stay beside me, and her presence did not disturb me. I was able to talk to her, and so she became my best friend. At least until I was in grade 2, when everything changed. She didn't laugh at me, and if I had to say something to my mother, I asked her to say it. When things inside me turned bad, she was the only one I could turn to. Now all of this makes me blush, but Charlotte was a real friend to me. I knew that she was just a doll. I wasn't stupid, but at the same time, she was real, too. I don't know how to explain it. It's difficult. My mother would cuddle her and tell her things. I guess she was trying to communicate with me, but back then I was too afraid to understand it. I didn't tell anyone about the light. I knew that something terrible was happening to me. I thought that I would die, and the shame I felt was so deep that an uncontrollable restlessness took over me. I was afraid when other people were nearby. I saw fingers pointed at me, mouths laughing, condemning me. I tried to be alone. I would sit down on the ground and, curled up in the dark, I would repeat a word, any word, in continuation. This helped me not to think, not to lose myself. I would spend entire days like this, hoping that my mother would ignore me. Her compassionate words hurt me and terrorized me even more, and so I had to. Shout and shout and shout those words. After a few days, things got better, and little by little I came out of my hiding place. But the fear was always there, under the surface, ready to strike me even harder. I remember a recurring dream from that time. I used to have plenty of nightmares, but this particular one was so real that even today, I ask myself whether it could have possibly been just a dream. I was in bed, enveloped by the warmth of the blanket, in the dark, about to succumb to sleep, when I heard the bedroom door open. I turned to face the wall and did not have the courage to turn around. I remember a recurring dream from that time. I used to have plenty of nightmares, but this particular one was so real that even today, I ask myself whether it could have possibly been just a dream. I was in bed, enveloped by the warmth of the blanket, in the dark, about to succumb to sleep, when I heard the bedroom door open. I turned to face the wall and did not have the courage to turn around. I only saw a shadow cast against the wall by the light filtering in through the door. Then I heard the door close again, and I thought that it might have been my mother who, before going to bed, used to peep in to see whether I was sleeping. However, there was no time to breathe a sigh of relief, for footsteps approached the bed, and I heard the sound of breathing close by. Fear paralyzed me from head to toe. The blankets were pulled back. I remember the chill of fresh air on my spine. Someone sat on the bed, and I trembled.
Oh. I like the illustration with the
Then
text.
the dream finished.
I'm sorry, what? I completely talked over that. I did not even hear her.
Then the dream finished. The light often came when I was at school, turning my fellow pupils into puppets that would terrorize me. To me, they appeared transformed, with the bloodied heads of animals stuck where their own heads should have been. I would curl up on the floor and would even wet myself. The teacher would try to console me and would smile at me, but her teeth and her eyes would terrify me even more. Things did change. I don't know why, perhaps during the second or third year of school.
Wow. Jeez. I feel like all my previous hypnosis have, I don't know if gone out the window or if had stayed. Now I'm even more puzzled as to what's truly going on.
It was more or less in the same period that I became friends with Bruna. I remember the sensation of joy I experienced when I felt almost normal. The light isn't coming. The dreams have gone, and I have a real friend, one who speaks to me. I would repeat this to myself proudly while looking in the mirror, where I no longer saw an embarrassing reflection. It seemed to me that the world was a difficult place, but it was no longer impossible. Bruna. I did not understand what Bruna saw in me, especially as she was almost 2 years older than me. I would tell her this every now and then, and she would joke about it, saying, "Nothing. I don't see anything in you, which is what I like about you." And then she would hug me. But one day, she was sad and pensive, and said to me, "You and I are the same. Don't be fooled. You are reserved and honest, and I'm not. But that's the only difference between us. The only one." Then she began to cry. I was struck by the perception in her words, but only today, after re-examining my past, do I understand what she meant. I no longer considered my body as something disgusting and ill. Far from it. I began to look at myself, to caress myself, and smell my own skin. I began to explore and experiment, finding physical pleasure. My ideas were not very clear, and I never spoke to anyone about these things. Bruna, however, spoke about them. She boasted about her love stories and her young men. By marvelous, generous, and kind boys. Thus, I fantasized about her adventures, pretending that I was the main protagonist. But how could I ever be like her? Occasionally I recall that she had black and blue marks on her body, But I was so naive that I did not understand. I did not put two and two together. It was Don Gino who explained things to me a few years later. He told me about Bruna's father and brother, but I was already very ill. The light had returned, and that thing made me suffer even more. It was my world, and it was crumbling. When I spoke to Bruna about it, she turned her head away and was silent for a long time. Prince Charming doesn't exist, Renee. At least not for us. I was 14 years old. I didn't think it was possible for a boy to look at me and desire me. When he asked me if I wanted to go for a walk, I didn't say anything. I didn't even have the courage to look at him. Things improved for a number of years, then suddenly everything came crashing down. One evening I came home drunk, and the following morning a terrible crisis overcame me all of a sudden. What had I done? I was terrified. I thought I'd lost my sight. The light burned my eyes from inside. The memories of the previous day emerged in bursts, images, flashes, which unleashed something monstrous inside me. Repetition of words was no longer sufficient. Now there was a voice in my head which repeated them louder than I did, and they were words of accusation and blame. So I covered my ears and shouted and hit my head against the wall and threw up. I remember the doctor, the wall filthy with blood and vomit. My mother wasn't looking at me. Bruna was crying but trying to hide it. Charlotte was beside me. I never told anyone what had happened. He came to visit me, but I refused to see him. I became agitated. I think he liked me, even though things turned out badly. In that period, I began to suffer from memory loss. The few things I learned didn't please me at all. He told me that I was looking for him. It was all my fault. Bruna told me that sometimes I got drunk. People in the village gossiped about me. Sometimes I was covered in black and blue marks. I didn't realize what was happening to me, what I was doing. I was no longer in control of my life. From my little corner. He felt accused, hurt. I chased him away. I insulted him. He was proud, handsome. He said things about me to other people, which he shouldn't have said. Mother caught me coming home drunk. She beat me and sent me to speak to Don Gino every day. He came back and tried to speak to me. I think he liked me. Sometimes I sent him packing and I started shouting at him, but other times I embraced him. I held him tight and loved him. But he couldn't bind himself to me. I was 16 and ill. I had no future. I didn't get out of bed for weeks. Then I did things I was ashamed of. I slept with men. The guilt tore at my soul, and the light came back to torture me. I invented stories to justify my actions. I couldn't bear my own weight. Mom found out about it. Her voice split my head. I pushed her away because I was afraid of dying, and I shouted to the whole world what was happening to me, and that I didn't understand. The police arrived, and they carted me away. I remember the onlookers shaking their heads. They would be better off without me, cleansed of shame. with something to talk about for a while.
So that's the end of that. We finally got to hear the whole... We finally got to hear the whole part of it. The whole booklet. You discovered that. So... For what I...
Let's look for Charlotte. We have abandoned her.
Scared the fuck out
Will
of me.
she still be where we abandoned her, under the warm lights?